what you can't dispute is the fact that the country is officially in a campaign mode. The president is touring the country in regions where he thinks his vote basket is going to come from. The United Opposition, nowadays they call themselves the United Alternative Government, is also moving across the country, drumming up support for their 2027 elections. Even as that part of the leadership line is not become clear, all we know is that Gachagua, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, Kalonzo Musyoka, all of them are in talking terms, even Mother Karua as well. The likes of Eugene Wamalwa as well. So if you look at that side, then you will know the guys who are drumming up support for each other, even before they decide who's going to be the flag bearer of the United Alternative Government side, formerly the United Opposition. As for the ruling party, that is UDA, they have to contend with one big issue, or the elephant in the room, which is who is going to be the deputy president in that conversation for leadership in a 2027. And you can see what the talk is about. If you listen to them, you can hear exactly what they are talking about. Some leaders within the ODM are saying the irreducible minimum is that they get the position for deputy president. But also factions within UDA, especially the Mount Kenya region, are saying that seat is ours. So that side has also not developed. But as this goes by, it is just us to watch, report on a daily basis, and then come and tell you exactly what those factions are doing as they gear up for the 2027 general elections. But even as these conversations go by, Brigadier Gachagua is being on note speaking about the 2023 Gen Z protest killings. In his campaign trails, he said if they take over power in a 2027, all the police officers who were involved in the killing of the Gen Zs and the abductions as well will be convicted and sent home. What is key is that he was the deputy president when all this was going on, and we have a statement saying that the police were allowed to use force in handling the Gen Z protesters during that time when we had all these protests in the country. The question I'm asking this morning, is this just a 2027 pledge that will never see the light of the day? The president has also spoken about this previously, and nothing has been done so far out of the protests and the result of the protests of the Gen Zs in a 2023. This is what we talk about this morning, the 2027 Gachagua pledge, that indeed all the police officers who were involved in those protests would be convicted and sent home. Do you believe that it stands by what he's saying, or is just another politician who's making a pledge that will sway the youth to his vote basket? Talk to us at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms on this March the 24th, a day when majority parts of the country are receiving a lot of rainfall, even at a time when the Nairobi County government has issued a warning that Nairobi Dam might break its banks. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiaga. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. Talk to us. Our WhatsApp lines are right there on your screen. As usual, we're going to jump directly into your dailies this morning. And we're going to start with the Daily Nation, and this is the headline: the plot thickens. This is the Tuju story, and we'll be telling you about that. Let's look at it. That's a story that has been covered on page 2 and 3. and that is the story that we spoke about yesterday about the Kericho mass grave numbers. So let's look at it. Numbers don't add up. How many bodies were buried? Is it 12, 13, or 14? Why the conflicting figures? That's a story that has been covered right there. There's legal doubts. Are the court orders permitting the burials genuine? DCI says this is not clear yet. Secrecy. Why were Kericho County officials and managers of the cemetery kept in the dark? Nobody knows yet. And grave suspicions. Do the mutilated remains and inconsistencies point to something more sinister? That story has been covered on page 213. It's about the Kericho mass grave story that was unearthed over this weekend, and as it looks is gaining more steam on the Kenyan news scene. All right, a story here on page 6. Kindiki office wants 450 million shillings extra for hospitality and choppers. Now, the office of the president, Kithure Kindiki, has requested members of parliament to approve an additional 450 million shillings for hospitality and hiring helicopters until the end of the financial year, June 30th, according to budget documents before parliament. That's close to 500 million shillings, yeah, for hospitality and hiring of choppers to fly the DP and his office across the country. Story here on page 4. TSC requires 30 billion annually to absorb 44,000 intern teachers. The Teacher Service Commission needs 2.5 billion every month to employ intern tutors on permanent basis as ordered by the court. That story has been covered on page 4 as well. Now, Tuju's story keeps on developing because on Saturday evening, the same vehicle, a Land Cruiser that didn't have plate numbers, was trailing me. By the time I reached Karen roundabout, they had really closed in. I branched into Nandi Road. That is how I lost them. That's a statement that comes from Tuju. We're going to listen to some of those bites this morning so you know exactly how this story goes, because we did see DCI boss come in and say we arrested Tuju because this statement, according to him, was false and nobody was trailing him. In fact, they said that abduction story was just a story that was given out so that it can get sympathy and grab national headlines. All right. Now, the 6.8 acre of the auctioned current land, Tuju is seeking to reclaim. That's what he's seeking to reclaim from this particular saga that is going on, grabbing headlines across the country. Tuju currently, as it is at current hospital. That's the last time. That's the last detail that we do know, with the lawyer claiming that that force that was used to bundle him into that Subaru by the DCI officers had the former cabinet secretary, Rafael Tuju. We shall keep on reporting on this story and giving you further details on it. Let's cross over to the Standard this morning. See what stories have been covered here. It is the same story, one for Rafael Tuju as well. Now, former cabinet secretary Rafael Tuju dramatically resurfaced after 2 days because he was allegedly abducted. That's what the DCI is saying this morning. Oh, was it yesterday? Claiming he had gone into hiding over alleged police surveillance, but as he spoke, officers moved into his current home, triggering a chaotic standoff and claims of excessive force during his arrest. Meanwhile, detectives also dismissed claims of his abduction, citing forensic evidence placing him at his home, deepening a saga pitting a public figure against the state. That story has been covered on page 4 as well. Now, this is what Rafael Tuju is saying. It's easy to tell when you're being followed. You slow down, they slow down, you overtake, they try to overtake, they were not able to branch into Nandi Road. That's how I lost them. That's a statement that has also been covered on the Daily Nation. They didn't care what my tribe is, they just saw me as a human being. Rafael Tuju, right there, with pictures of him lying at the TCI offices. yeah, once he was arrested as well. How the story ends, because that property, the 6.8 acre property, has already been auctioned, and now Tuju is simply looking to reclaim it back to his possession. On that note, let's then cross over and look at some of the trending stories that you are waking up to this morning. And we're going to start with a couple of them. I mean, there has been a lot of rains across the country. And Eldoret, as we do know, also Ukambani are those regions that have been heavily affected by the heavy downpour that has been witnessed in those areas since the weekend. And it looks some bridges and some estates, by the way, have now been flooded, especially in Eldoret and Ukambani. The bridges are under threat as those rains keep on pounding those areas. The first one that we're going to give you is just looking at some of the clips that are surfacing from Ukambani. This is Kaiti River in Makueni County that is full to the brim. If you look at those pictures, then you will see exactly how bad those things are. And you're wondering if that bridge is going to survive. This is exactly how it looks this morning. If you look at it, then you will see exactly what's going on. That bridge right there, and you will see those curious onlookers that are taking videos and pictures of that bridge that is now faced with the mighty responsibility of containing those raging floods at Kaiti River in Makueni County. A couple of responses I was saying here. Mr. Makweli, that is, he's saying there's a lot of rainwater that should be harvested, so there are no more water shortages moving forward. The government should plan a multi-purpose project to construct a dam that will also facilitate hydroelectric power generation. Yule Master anasema hii maji yote inaenda wapi, because Makueni is dry for majority parts of the year. All right. This is Alfonso saying the Kampa will still have water shortage 1 month after the rains. All right. Finally then, Martin Kivuva was saying hii maji yote ingekuwa inaingia Thwake Dam, lakini wapi? That's one project that should have completed long time ago. Na mtu asijaribu kuleta upuzi ya mko position. We pay taxes as well. Proper Kenyans were really asking questions about what then follows after all this water has settled. Now, I've got two clips for you this morning of Rafael Tuju and his woes currently across the country. We're going to start with the first one. This is him speaking yesterday. Actually, this is him in police custody yesterday. And it's a clip. Actually, not this one. Do you have the one of him? Yes, this is the one that we're going to start with. That's how it is. And it's a man who looked seemingly in a lot of pain when he was arraigned in police custody. Let's listen to this clip, and then we'll come back and look at exactly how Kenyans are reacting to it.
You won't die. You won't die. No. You will not die.
It's a case that still continues to grab headlines across the country. Nobody knows what's going on in this particular story because that 6.8 acre property has already been auctioned off. And Tuju is simply just trying to grab it back. And the DCI said they arrested him because he gave false information about his abduction. Yeah. All right, let's look at it. Sebe was saying, Hugh Jinga Mwache, the guy was well when it resurfaced, even talked well with confidence. Kwa nini analia akiangalia camera? That's the question. Kanyada was saying ni kama spinal cord imepigwa akifusiwa kwa Subaru. All right. Call me Peter. Munge Peterson this morning was saying, without prejudice, this is pure juvenile drama. Mark Gick was saying, how is the president involved? Tuju is just becoming dramatic, yet he has himself to blame. The court processes have all arrived at the same judgment as UK and Kenya. He just has to play fair game and take responsibility. He doesn't own the property anymore. The bank does. All right? Those are Kenyans who are responding to this one for Tuju. Now, the next one is Tuju talking slightly before he was arrested by the DCI. We're not going to listen to the entirety of this clip. We're just going to listen to a couple of it and then come take notes on it. Let's listen in.
Of solidarity, which have now just withdrawn and seen some of the footage. On Friday, I noticed when I came from the petrol station, which is just the Shell petrol station, that I was being followed. Because it's easy to know when you're being followed. You drive. You slow down, they slow down, you overtake, they try to overtake. And after that incident, of course, I reported to current police station, and the reference OB is on Friday is 21/21/03/2026. And I did explain to them that I was a little bit concerned and worried that I'm being followed. Unfortunately, on Saturday evening, I was supposed to be going for an interview at Ramogi Radio. I'd made a commitment to go there. Then again, the same vehicle, a Land Cruiser, and this time a little bit more concerning. The vehicle didn't have plate numbers. And having experienced last week when close to 20 police Land Rovers came to my premises, and some of them did have plate numbers. So I got very worried. I happened to have my aide next to me, but I was one driving. I tend to drive myself very often. And by the time I reached Karen roundabout, they really closed in. And now at the
comments. This is Njama Hamisi who's saying, but history abduction ni ya kujipangia, haitaisha hapa Kenya mpaka lini jamani. All right. Cheptugen, that is Nahashon who's saying, and who are these crooks? Why doesn't this government arrest them? Does it mean the government is dead? Finally, Mwalimu Muthisia was saying these tribalists are working tirelessly hard to destabilize President Ruto. Their belief that Kenya is their property is seriously a misplacement. They should be satisfied for having produced 3 presidents since independence. Right? Finally then, on this one, I've got Daniels here who's saying, wow, this is just a ploy in the media for sympathy. That's the one that is going to close that discussion for Tuju. Now, you do know, we reported here a case of the Nairobi Hospital where the management was put into question by the government. Even President Dr. William Ruto has been talking about it in his campaign trails. Now, this is one serious story because now the government is looking to drop that case against the hospital management. Again, after that big saga that we saw across the country with the president accusing that management of wanting to down Nairobi Hospital. All right. This is James Orengo was part of the lawyers were representing the hospital management, and this is what he's saying. He appeared at Milimani Law Courts with fellow advocates, including Charles Kanjama, Nelson Harvey, and Honorable Babu Wino, for Nairobi Hospital directors facing wholly unmerited charges. The charges were withdrawn, right? Now, this is what he's saying, that a reminder, prosecutorial power must be exercised judiciously, anchored in evidence, law, and the highest standards of fairness. And his argument is that withdrawal of those charges is just indiscipline from the government's side. All right? This is it. Let me just read a couple of comments here. This is Nyarsuba who's saying senior counsel is back. Good job, Mheshimiwa. Dixon Nyaga who's saying it's high time the older of ODPP resigned immediately to bringing the office into disrepute. May history always be kind to you. This is K. And then finally, Wakili, here we go. All right? It's baffling, because if you have a case as the ODPP, then you shouldn't withdraw it. I mean, when you've already arrested the people you think are the perpetrators in that matter, that Kenyans just getting to the two more saga. Now, this on a light note, one, Mike Sonkombuvi has been speaking to this morning, is telling you to stop eating chapati, stop drinking, stop going out for parties, yeah, don't have a lot of women if you want to lose weight. I don't know where we have that clip. It will be a fantastic way to end our conversation on what you're waking up to this morning in your trends, as Sonko signs out this morning. Do we have it?
Imekatika, ilikuwa huku kama utafiri nimebeba twins. Sasa hii imerudi huku sababu nimepunguza, hata sichapi siendi. Ufileta mje niona sherehe club because I'm working on my health. Na naregelea machapati, hizo mafuta, mamchele, machapo, hizo ni mbaya sana kama mna habari. Hata mimi mademu nimekata siku hizi. Wezi niona club, wezi niona mademu. Wakora wote nilifukuza. I'm concentrating on our life, na health, na kila kitu. Kwa hivyo jamaa, tuwe tunaangalia hiyo maneno.
Well, that's how it is. So, I mean, it's going through a procedure, isn't it? Kenyans who are also struggling with weight issues. Some of us are struggling to gain weight. Some of us are struggling to lose it. I mean, that's the balance of life, isn't it? Saying here, King Yobra, who's saying, ukitumia Ozempic hufai kuongea. All right. Emperor, that is John G, who's saying, aliambiwa maramob, akaanza kututusi. All right. That's how it is, isn't it? But it's good to always, stay healthy. Even the president is telling you that you need to eat less, go to the gym, yeah, and yeah, keep healthy as well. By the way, Maimayu Road was flooded. Was it yesterday? Yes. Some sections were completely flooded, and that place always gets flooded when it rains across the country. Now, that's exactly what it is that you're waking up to this morning in terms of your trends. I know there are a lot of issues that are trending across the country this morning, but those are the issues that Kenyans are talking about online. Once we come back, Rigathi Gachagua has been speaking, and he's saying that all those police officers who were involved in the abduction and killing of the Gen Z protesters back in 2023 is going to arrest them and send them home if you give him power come 2027. The question that we're asking this morning is that, is this just an election pledge so that he sides with the youth come 2027, or is it meaning it? Because what we do know is that the president has done little to nothing in making sure that justice is served to majority of the young people who are protesting back in 2023. Once we come back, I will be introducing the guests who are joining us in the studio this morning so that we can table this conversation. Be online and look up TV across all your social media platforms. I see you on the other side of this little break.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu, kwa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, "Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more."
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like.
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Is it for you to forgive someone who has hurt you?
How easy is it?
What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. Men look familiar. Have we met before?
No. We met in
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu, kwa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he's going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
How easy is it for you to forgive someone who has hurt you? How easy is it? What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. Men look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Welcome back to the Morning Drift. You can see what our discussion this morning is. Rigathi Gachagua has been speaking on an issue that touches the youth in this country. And so the best way for us to, decipher the communications that are coming from Rigathi Gachagua is to have youthful faces in the studio this morning so that we can talk about what the former DP really means and the DCP party leader. Well, I'll tell you what he says. He's saying that all those police officers who were involved in the Gen Z protests and attacks, if you give him power in a 2027, all of them will be arrested and sent home. That's what he said. Do you believe so? At a time when the youth across the country have also started another movement, and they're saying Nico Kadi, urging the rest of the youth across the country to take up a voter's card, register to vote, so that they can take out the rogue leadership out and replace it with we do not know which. That's what we're here to talk about this morning. Let me just read for you a couple of those statements. Now, I would tell you what President Ruto said during that period. President Ruto said, and this is a quote, "Everybody is entitled to their opinions. Free citizens are free to engage." And during this period, he was backing the security agencies in restoring order. All right? During that period, as pressure mounted, he shifted to a more conciliatory stance, promising accountability and stating that action will be taken against rogue police officers involved in shooting and armed protesters. Now, the official government line has since remained consistent that security forces were responding to unrest, but any excesses would be investigated through established institutions. That is what the government point has always been. All right, now let's go back to what Rigathi Gachagua said during that particular period, and this is a statement that he supported the use of police force because a lot of property across the country was getting destroyed, and he didn't see any need for the police to back down from the use of that force. Now, this is a direct quote, and I'll read it. I disagreed with the killing and abduction of our children, and adding, killing the youth will not kill the truth. Now, on the campaign trail, his rhetoric has escalated into direct political accountability, with promises that those responsible will face arrest if a new government takes power. And when he talks about a new government, it is what has currently been introduced to Kenyans as the United Alternative Government. All right, joining us this morning then is a man who was supposed to join us yesterday for another conversation that is essentially attached to this one, Mr. Kimutai Rotich, who's a political analyst. How are you doing, sir?
Good, sir.
Happy to have you around.
Thank
also
you.
joining him this morning is Oben Obongo, who's a political analyst as well. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Let's jump into this conversation this morning, and it's just a direct conversation. It's no secret that Rigathi Gachagua and President Dr. William Ruto heavily defended the police use of force during the 2023 youth protests across the country. Now, that tune is completely changed. What we do know is that as it stands now, we've not seen direct action. A report that is coming out telling us that, well, the police officers who used excessive force during the 2023 protests have, number one, either been arraigned in court, punished, or been sent home. There is no report that we are aware of as a media that we can lay here and tell you that this is exactly what it is. Now, Rigathi Gachagua, a man who also supported the use of force during that period, is saying, you know what, if you give us power in 2027, the first thing that we're going to do is make sure that all those police officers who used excessive force and also killed and abducted the Gen Z protesters or the youthful protesters during that period are going to go home or get convicted. Kimtai, I'll begin with you this morning. Is this politics to lure the youth into his vote basket, or this is a matter that we should take serious concern from him, because as we do know of it, President Dr. William Ruto is quite silent about that issue?
Okay, what I'll start to say is that what Rigathi Gachagua just said is, I think it's a political. It's not even, I don't think even it's a political. Because, you know, anytime when you are not in power or when you are in opposition, you usually act as an activist. And also is a way of at least making attraction to the masses.
Yes.
At least now he's trying, he has seen that the youths are half numbers. So he's trying a little bit just to be friendly to the youth, and also trying to convince them that when we get power, I will just go and open those files of injustices, the brutalities and whatever. So this guy is doing 2027 politics. Because as you know, even when Matiang'i was in power, you know, there is some allegations of Rivayala, allegations of abduction, allegations of killing. So, but right now, Matiang'i is saying this government is rogue, the government is not doing, because now he's not in power. The same thing is happening with the government. They are protecting the brutalities, doing abductions. So, you know, when you are in power, you don't see what's happening. But when you are out of power, you see what's happening. Like when Gachagua was in power also, he once even told opposition that you should not go to demonstration police, because police are government officers. So he withdrew the police from the opposition leaders who went for Mandamano, and he told them that our police should not go to Mandamano.
Yes.
The same person is now telling Kenyans or telling our people, the youths, that when we get power, we will review that police brutality, which is not true and which is not right. That is a political tool for them just to gain power 2027. Yes. It's like the way this government used the bottom-up agenda to get into power. But right now, we are not talking about the bottom-up agenda. We are talking about the Singapore, the housing and whatever. So when we want power, we use something that will attract the masses. When we go and do what we wanted to do. So it has been a norm to politicians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Owen, let me also cross to you as well. We're going to look at majority of the statements that we've seen from political leaders at the height of those protests across the country. Regarding Gachagua is saying, give me power in 2027, the first thing that I'm going to do is arrest all those police officers who either killed the youthful protesters during that period or abducted them or used excessive force. Political statement, or is a man that we can hold him accountable for that statement?
I think it is the duty of citizens to be holding politicians to account all the times and not leaving that in the hands of a single individual. We all know this is the typical characteristics of the KANU orphan politicians, because they have been in power, they have abused or have participated in the excesses of force within the structures of power, and being that politics is a matter of interest and they are looking for ways to get back in power, we expect that reconciliatory tones will be used, and also they'll be going back on their words that they have stated before. We've seen even honorable members of parliament like Nelson Koech apologize after having previously supported statements that encourage the shoot order of the leg shooting of youths in this country before. So it is the tactical behavior of politicians, and since we are a few months to an election, I think about 15 months, we are yet to see more drama from this set of class, because in the previous election we saw some making for us chapatis, others doing several activities. So this is now the season where they'll be making cautious statements, yes, to be able to lure the voters, and this time round the vote reach target is the youth. Yes.
Pretty much. Kimutai, let's talk about it then. I mean, the president, in the 10-point agenda, and we spoke about it here with you, I think a couple of weeks back. In that IPOA report, which you said you didn't qualify as a report, because a report you said has numbers, has names, has figures, has dates and times, that we can actually go back, review, and then say that this is exactly what has been done. Do you feel that there is a sustained move not to go in that direction? So that go back, review the police conduct within a period of the youth protest in the country, and then convict the police officers who were either involved in the killing, abduction, or using of excessive force. Do you feel like the government, and in this point, one President Dr. William Ruto doesn't want us to move in that direction?
You know, at some times we do like blaming the state by maybe misfortunes of the police. In this country, we have about 3 units of police. We have administration police, the general service unit, and the Kenya police. You know, those guys go to different kind of trainings, and sometimes when they are handling the riots, some knows how to handle it, some doesn't know how to handle the riots, and maybe some are ignorant. You know, we can't generalize all police that they are rock or what. There is some police who just is their norm. They are not serious on what they are doing, and they are careless on handling the rights. Because when you see even the one who was shooting the masked man, that should not even be a blame to the government or the state. That was a police who is just careless of what he's doing. So, and also, you know, the government...
Is it not being given an order?
It's not, no, that was not an order.
Because we know how the police operate. They operate with orders.
Yeah, it operates with orders, but at a point in Kenya, there is no order to kill. In fact, even the Constitution of Kenya doesn't allow you to kill. It's unconstitutional to kill.
Yes.
It's a crime.
Yes, but then Kimtai, when your president tells you, go out and shoot them on the legs, that you can actually shoot them on the legs, and that's coming from the president. And don't you feel that that's a protection order? And
do you know that we have high power? High power. Yes. And in fact, if today I give you an order to shoot, to kill, or you shoot on the leg, or you shoot anywhere, but when the law catches up with you, nobody is above the law. Even the president is not above the law, and we all work under the law. If today the Constitution is very clear, the power belongs to the people, the Article 1 of the Constitution. So the only way you can manage the riots is on the best way you can control it, but not to kill. So when the president says shoot to kill, you should know that if anything happens, you are the one taking the responsibility. Like the guy who shoot, or the one who killed the guy from Homa Bay or Kisumu at police cells.
Yes.
As we speak right now, the OCS of Central Police Station is still inside. The guy who killed the masked man is inside. The guy who killed Rex Masai is still having a case in court. So the responsibility lies on your hands. If you do a police order, or a presidential order, or anybody's order, and you do a mistake against the law, the law will catch up with you. The law doesn't work with the orders. The law works with the law. Exactly.
And I completely do understand what you're saying, but in cases where there are riots, where accountability becomes a bit of an issue, doesn't the blanket order win the day, Kimutai, in the sense of that in places where we have mass shootings or mass killings, or we have a lot of youth who are sat there and the police are trying to manage these issues, don't you think then that the police are sort of protected by that order that came from above, that yes, you can kill them? I mean, they're not going to know how these guys passed on.
My brother, right now as we speak, the guy who killed the masked man is inside, despite the orders.
And that's an isolated
despite the orders.
Kimtai, that's an isolated
even these people think that they are much protected by the state.
That's it.
But when the law catches up with you, you deal with the law. And what I want to urge them is that anything you do against the law, it doesn't mean that you took orders from anyone or anybody else. Even the president gives you orders to do what you want to do. But if the law catches up with you, you deal with the law. And I want to say, there is good police. There have been good police who knew how to handle these riots. And as we speak right now, you know, and once I told you, we have the same monkeys in different forests. The ones in opposition, they were once in government. And what they did in government, the same thing this government is doing. The ones who were then promising people, even the president once said, I will protect my deputy. There is some clips, he said, I'll give my deputy respect, the much respect I can. He once said also, there will be no extrajudicial killing. He once said there will be no abductions. But few months in power, we saw everything. This is the same government. He promised that what happened in Rifayala, what happened to our youths, it will never happen. Even bomoa easy ya kubomoa manyumba, he once said, why are we doing this to our people in slums areas? But what is happening now? They demolished some slums here at Olympic, Kayole, at some places. So I'm telling you, these are the same monkeys, different forests. It's anybody, when you are given time, when now you are given time to have that power, you'll do the same things these people are doing. So what we, the youth, we are saying is that we are not seeing anything different from the ones who are in government and the ones who are in opposition. I think maybe we pray God now to give us the real people, the different monkeys. We can have the different monkeys and different forests. Now we start afresh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and same question to you as well. That there's, regardless of what Kim Tai is saying this morning, when the president comes out and says, I do not, and in fact, he was asked, do you now want to recant that statement that you gave out that the police should shoot these guys in the legs? He said, no, I do not apologize for those words. I meant them. That the police are also allowed to use necessary force to the point of shooting them in the legs. So when, as a police boss, as a police officer who's come out here to see over this protest by the young people, don't you feel that you are protected by the state? You have a president who's telling you, yes, you can go out and spend your real bullets outside there. In cases where we had protests that went into the night, we had youth who were missing, not accounted for to date, don't you think that the police knew very well that we are well protected by the state? That in the event when real comes to real, the president has got my hand. Is that not what it is?
I think that is what it is, sadly, because if that was not the true state of affairs, then there will be that deterrent in terms of morals and even the legality of performing illegal orders.
Yes.
So to that extent, it goes to show that those in power in some way have a way of bending the law to protect themselves. And this has led to the promotion of bad behaviors among the apparatus that are meant to protect and ensure that our human rights aren't violated in any form.
Yes.
But it is quite sad, some of them have participated in these violations themselves. So this is not a today problem. It is equally what I would term part of historical injustice, because we've experienced this during the colonial times, because the actual police force was formed to rein in on the Africans who were at that time under the colonial masters. There has not been any formidable or any reforms, particularly within the same force that was inherited by the first president to now the current, to actually transform it to a force that can be able to take care of Kenyans appropriately.
Yes.
So it is important that even the trainings for these police officers should be revised. What was only revised is changing the name from police force to police service. So the actual training should be done, and also the welfare of these police officers, because one of the many problems that they have been raising was their welfare. And we even saw one time when they were doing rounds within the country to engage the officers, we also saw some interesting chaotic scenes where junior officers were challenging the senior officers. We've also seen incidences of where junior officers are making videos complaining about harassment, or they're being transferred in for matters of interest
Yes.
within the force.
Yes.
So all this is also giving them stresses, and they take this stress and they also mete it out on innocent Kenyans who are not armed. So it is the government should actually also look for counseling services for these officers to be able to address their, because you know one of the trending issues currently is also mental health, to check, because it is for that reason you see an innocent Kenyan selling masks is being shot aimlessly.
Yes.
It is for that reason you are seeing a Kenyan is being tortured in a police cell and they lose their life. So we need tangible reforms that will promote good behavior from our loving police officers, and also it will lead towards protecting the life of common Kenyans.
That's it.
Yes.
Here's a question that then I'm putting to you. I mean, Kimusai, I like the fact that this morning you're taking a very conservative approach. You don't want to say the way it is. If Rigathi Gachagua then comes in and tells the youth of the country that indeed the first thing that I'm going to do when I'm getting into office in 2027, and we do not know in what form Rigathi Gachagua is going to form the next government. He says, give us that power, and the first thing that we're going to do for the youth in this country is go back to 2023, account for every police officer's conduct, and then arrest them and kick them out of the service. Would be that the first case for any youth in this country to vote for Rigathi Gachagua's side of the government?
It might be. It might be. You know, we Kenyans,
Would it be? Would it be for you?
Yeah, it might be. It's not.
I like the way you're saying it might be.
It might,
would it be for you?
No,
like if Rigathi Gachagua comes and tells you, give me that vote today, the first thing in office, give me a month, they're going home.
You know, that's why we do say these people have a manifesto. And we do follow their manifestos. So when the manifesto feels like it's good for me, then why not? And also, it's not a dream or it's not something to surprise us, these guys to make a government. It can happen. It's not even something big for these guys to make a government in 2027. I've not told you that in 2027, this government might not go home. Things do happen. Things do happen. And before things do happen, I'll tell you one thing. This government, when they came in 2022, they promised us some things that they will change from the previous government, which was one, they promised that they will end this unit. There was a SOG unit or SOU unit. At that time, the president said, I've cancelled that unit. Number two, the president said, I'll fight corruption. The president also promised that never be extrajudicial killing, never be anything. He promised a lot of things about bottom-up and everything. The same president with the deputy president, then Rigathi Gachagua. But at a point, they lost focus and nothing happened. Gachagua went this way, the president went this way. The same person who was with the president is now the one telling us, I'll come, when you give me chance 2027, I'll come and change things. Which, okay, we do believe, because we believed even in 2022, this government, that they will change things, which they have not changed yet until now. The same people who are the ones promising us that we will change things.
Yes.
Are the same people who were in power then. Let me tell you, somebody like Fred Matiang'i was in power. He was even interior minister. And there was an extrajudicial killing, there was police brutality and everything. But the same Matiang'i, with that orders he was having then, is promising us that when we get into power, we will change ABCD. And there is something I've realized about these people. When we are in power, we don't see tomorrow. But when we are out of power, we see tomorrow. This is the same thing is happening. And Gachagua making a government with Kalonzo, Matiang'i, and wherever, maybe Akina Sifuna making a government, it's okay. But the question should be, will they keep their words? That should be a question between me and you. That if these guys, we give them as the youth a chance to go to this government, will they keep their words? More so, maybe they will not or they will, because from the experience, the government which is in power now, they never made the promise. They never kept the promise.
So the question somebody's going to ask you is that Rigathi Gachagua was the same man who said that he didn't have a problem with police using force in the country during the height of the Gen Z protest. He didn't have a problem with it. So, Kimsai, wouldn't it be ironic for you to turn around and vote for that same man who's now telling you, you see what I was supporting back then, I will not support it anymore because I want your votes, so let's go back, put me in power so that I can kick them out of office?
You know, it's very sorry for me to say that, you know, Gachagua is a very bitter man because he was in power some few years ago, and now he's out of power.
Yes.
And he's out of power not because of election or what, because he was chased away by his own friend. So he's a bitter man that this guy must get out of power. And this guy, when the president will, or when, if it happens that the president gets out of power, this guy atakuwa ile ya kulipisha. And maybe he will do it kwa kulipisha on our behalf. But in real sense, these guys will not do. I'm telling you, these guys will not do. The only people who will do is when we elect a sound-minded president,
Yes.
a president who knows what he was elected for, a president who will account, a president, you know, right now, even some days back, 2 weeks ago, our president left the symbol of unity and started insulting with regarding Gachagua. You will not even differentiate who is the president, who is the opposition, because the insults were very fair. I don't know even how to put it. But now, if that's a fight between two Peter men, two Peter men, someone is slim, someone is fat, you know, and that's people now who are promising us Singapore, another one promising us Canaan. I don't know how are we going to head to Canaan with two Peter men. So at least we can now go back, and this thing of us Nikokadi can work for us now, and youth, we sit down and we say Tukokadi, which is our way.
In fact, I was going to come to that as well, just before we touch on that issue, because there's one thing that is pushing Gachagua to speak like he's speaking. Owen, some question to you this morning. If Rigathi Gachagua comes to you today and tells you, Owen, I need your vote for 2027, and the first thing on my agenda as your president or as your government in 2027, because we haven't known how the United Alternative government is going to appear come 2027, is to make sure that all those rogue police officers who either used excessive force, stepped out of their boundary, abducted youth or killed youth in this country, all of them are going to get arrested, go home, so that we start on a clean slate as a government with our youth in a 2027. Is that enough, Owen, for you to say, because you've said this morning, you wonder why that would happen for the youth in this country. If he comes and tells you he's going to do that, is that enough for you to say, well, my vote belongs to Rigathi Gachagua's side in 2027?
First and foremost, I would like by starting with the statement Nikokadi personally, and I hope you, the host, and my panelist, Nikokadi Pia.
Yes, I don't know what that's, I don't know what it means. All I know is that I've got my voter's card and I'm going to vote.
Yes. But that being said, I will always advise that we treat the statements of politicians cautiously, because we might end up building a lot of hope in such statements only to end up being disappointed. A case in point, the 2024 scenario, where youths felt they were let down by the government, and they came out in large number to voice out their issues. And currently, they are still not quite comfortable. And if you look at how they are behaving currently, they are not so much tied to the government side, neither are they tied to the united opposition side. And there are attempts also for them who are trying to build up a possibility of having their own candidates. And that's why you've seen some of them having an attraction towards the Linda Wananchi group. So for me, if you ask me if I would trust Gachagua to be the man to be able to protect my rights, to prevent the system from harassing me as an innocent Kenyan, or enforcing discipline and going after the rogue officers, I would say no, because previously in his past life, he was promoting it. And now because of personal differences outside, he's trying to make a comeback. So even if he does make that comeback, what he will actually do, he will be on a vengeance mission to transfer, not even arrest and prosecute, the officers that he deemed were harassing him. So they'll be taken to hardship areas, and he brings his cronies to take over. That is the typical behavior of our Kenyan politicians, which is quite sad.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, no vote for him?
No vote from, on my side.
Because that's my next question this morning, gentlemen. Because all these conversations are because of the, I don't know whether it's perceived, or the increased call out of the Kenyan youth to take up their voters' cards. And we keep on looking at these numbers. And yesterday we were supposed to look at those numbers with you, Kim Tai, that in this country there are 22 million registered voters, if you go back to the 2022 register. But out of those 22 million, 14 million are adults, people above the age of 35. So you see, the young people in that voters register as of 2022 were just 8 million. But then, if you look at the total population of the people who voted in 2022, it was just 14 million out of the 22 million. So somebody told me the other day, you'll be surprised that probably only 2 million young people in this country actually went out and lined up to vote for their leaders in 2022. But all of a sudden, there's this call for the young people in this country to go pick up their voters card and register, because IEBC is telling us they're targeting 6 million extra, and we do know who they are. Those are people who didn't have their voters cards as of 2022, and those are the young people in this country. But the only reason as to why Rigathi Gachagua is calling you out this morning and telling you that I've got a plan for you is because of the increased call of the young people in this country to vote come 2027. Which side are they going to vote? And is this not enough reason for them to vote?
You know, my brother, we are not going to get a voters card to vote for Rigathi Gachagua or William Ruto.
Who are you voting for?
You know, we have said to
Kimtai, what are the options for you?
No, we have said as the youth. We have said as the youth.
Do I give you the options this morning? It's either you're going to vote for President Dr. William Ruto, that is already confirmed. He's running again in 2027. Or it's either you're going to vote for Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, Martha Karua, or Dr. Fred Matiang'i.
Who told you they will end up being one by 2027?
As it stands,
we have the former Chief Justice.
As it stands, or one.
We have
Maraga.
We have Wajakoya. We can have even Sifuna. We can have even Ndindi Nyoro. We have not made up our mind. And maybe even at that time, Gachagua will not fight because he was impeached. We don't know how the case it will end up. So we are not going to rush for a decision. We have said to Kokadi, this means that we want to make a change. And we cannot make a change by repeating the same mistake.
Kimutai, I don't see it. What options are
What
options are open for the Kenyan?
How on earth will you hate that the President William Ruto is bad?
Yes.
And you elect Gachagua? That's you're repeating the same mistake. These people were in power the same. We said at a point that Uhuru is a bad president. Ruto is the best. We elected William Ruto. The same people who elected William Ruto as the deputy of Uhuru are the same people crying now that William Ruto is bad. Uhuru was better. Now, William Ruto was with Gachagua. So with a moment of time, we will say, no, this one is bad. William Ruto was at least.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to call it out this morning.
So we are making a decision.
This nonsense of the Kenyan youth saying that we do not know. We don't want to be told. Don't ask us yet. Is it not the same thing that we saw in the Gen Z protests, the young people protests in this country, that at that particular time, when we were getting asked, okay, so what do you want? Who's your leader? Who can we talk to so that we give you what you want? We said we are tribalists, we are leaderless, we are directionless. All we're saying is that we don't want you. But in an election, Kimutai, Rigathi Gachagua is here telling you, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to arrest all those police officers and make sure that police brutality against protests in this country is not a thing that you're going to hear. Is that not enough for us to say, maybe we should vote for him? Or if not, then we're going to do this direction. Are we not at the same place where we were in 2023 when we're getting asked, what is your way? And we didn't know.
You know, my brother, in 2024, when we were having demonstration as the youth, we had no one who took us to the streets. We went for ourselves. We read the constitution.
That's it.
And we saw these members of parliament as misleading us. They are making laws which are not favoring the people and the people of Kenya.
That's it.
So we, the youths, as the tribeless, leaderless, we went out all the way from Kisumu, Eldoret, Turkana, Mombasa, Nairobi, everywhere.
That's it.
Came out, demonstrated that we don't want this and we don't want this. We rejected the finance bill as the youth. At that time, Rigathi Gachagua was supporting the finance bill with the president. They were the ones supporting the finance bill when we were demonstrating. When Baba was demonstrating at that time also, when they were asking to the servers, when they were asking, they want the IEBC to open in, Rigathi Gachagua was with the president. The same person right now is telling us that I'll make a change. It's the person we demonstrated against his government with the president. Now, if the youths will go back and make the same decision, these are the people, it's only 1 year down the line they were together.
That's it.
Now I'm saying is the youth,
yes,
why don't we sit down? We get our own card. We make a decision. The way we made a decision to demonstrate without anybody telling us to demonstrate is the same way. You say there are 8 million youths in Kenya. The, President William Ruto 2020 won with 8 million votes. That's our votes. We can make a decision. If today we came out and we take that card to Kokadi and we make a very genuine decision, we make a sound-minded decision. These youths are very learned.
What is that decision has to be seen now. And that's why Rigathi Gachagua is speaking to you this morning. Listen, you gotta make a decision.
Gachagua should not be the option making decision for us. Gachagua should not be making decision for us, the youth.
But there's this indecisiveness that the political class is reading, because even President Dr. William Ruto is also telling you the same thing, Akokadi. Rigathi Gachagua is also telling the same thing, Nikokadi. So can't you see that all of a sudden this movement is... Everybody can have a take on it.
But Gachagua told William, Ukokadi a red card. So this guy is Akokadi a red card. We don't know if Gachagua is in the yellow card.
Yes.
And we the youth, we know our card.
Yes.
And my brother, let me tell you, the problem with this government or with this country,
that's it.
Anytime we are in power, we suspend the law.
Yes.
Anytime we are in power, we suspend the law.
That's it.
And anytime we are not in power,
yes,
we recommend the law.
Yes.
That's our big problem. Gachagua now is recommending the law. But when he was in power, he suspended the law. That's the same thing happening. Right now, we want a leader. And I want to watch youth. You know, these youth, you are saying they are not going to take this card because they are disappointed. They are hopeless because things they are seeing, jobless, hopeless.
Yes.
You know, we are much learned, but we don't see anybody who is taking us to our vision.
That's it.
We in our mind we have a vision, but somebody taking us to that vision is nowhere.
That's it.
So now we are saying to Kokadi, so that we can see that person with a vision, like us, the youth, who will take us somewhere.
That's it. So, Owen, I'd like to go for a break because you have to respond to the same point that I'm having with Kimitai this morning, the same fight. This is Japheth, who is the president, Kabila La Vijana, in the country, is watching us this morning. How are you doing, sir? And he's saying, I like the conversation this morning, but one thing has to be clear. The youth in the country, and he's taking a bite on you, even the youth that you have in the studio are not yet decided. And that's a bad thing. They are for the taking. So Rigathi Gachagua will take his youth, and President Ruto will take his youth. Sure. They have already picked up the Nikokadi slogan. The fact that the youth have not decided which direction they're going to go precisely is going to be our biggest failure in 2027. That's what he's saying.
Sure.
Guess what? Once we come back, Owen, you'll be responding to this. Why not vote for Rigathi Gachagua? Because it's already giving you options on the table. And if not Rigathi Gachagua, you can't say Nikokadi and then you stay with the card and then say, I'm waiting. What are you waiting for? The decision has to be made now. Once we come back right here on The Morning Drift. Guess what? You can also participate at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kinage Simba. Once we come back.
For you to forgive someone who has hurt you?
How easy is it?
What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, Men do this a lot. They look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody is buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Welcome back to the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage, still with Mr. Obongo and Kimutai in the studio this morning. I mean, we stepped out of the studio with the President Kabila La Vijana sending a message in the studio saying that he feels the youth are confused, and even said that even the guys in the studio have not made a decision, and that's bad for the youth of this country. Same thing that I asked you, Owen. I mean, if not the president, if not Rigathi Gachagua's side, how are the youth going to vote? Because you can see this movement for Nico Kadi is already taking up political steam across the country. And that's what Rigathi Gachagua is going in. He's telling them, enda mchukue kadi, mkishachukua kadi, come vote for our side. If you give us that power, then we're going to arrest all those police officers who used excessive force, abducted youth and killed youth in this country. So if the youth up to now have not made a decision, what are they waiting for? And when is that decision going to come?
It's not that the youths have not made a decision. I want to agree with the statement the Bunge person said.
Yes.
It will be delusional to say that currently the youths are agitated. That's across the board. We can't deny that. But if you're going to say that they are united behind a specific candidate, it will be false. Because it's like every group has their own kind of youth and they're equally wakokadi. And that's why you see the Gachagua group saying they are Kadi, Kalonzo, and the president has also joined the bandwagon, wakokadi. So it's bringing in a lot of confusion because the youth haven't found a unifying presidential candidate yet. But it might be for some good reasons.
Yes.
Because we have institutions that wield the power of influence, and that is most especially the government.
Yes.
They have the money, they have the instruments like the police, they even also have the possibility of sponsoring people to also cause division. So if the youth take out their card quite early, there is a possibility the president will be caddy on the youths themselves. So it is a cautious move by the youths that they have decided to take to be able to outmaneuver the influential tools that might be used against them.
Yes.
So it is just quite in order. So they are doing things in stages, and currently it is civic education, encouraging masses to take up their voters' cards.
That's it. Here's a question that I'm going to put to you. If Rigathi Gachagua doesn't appeal to the youth of this country, if Nico Nakadi means get President Ruto out of office, should it directly translate to we need a leader, a youthful leader in this country as a youth to front to that position? And it's the same thing, and it's been called nonsense. Let me tell you who called it. It's Kileleshwa, MCA. Who said this nonsense about Nico Nakadi is going nowhere. And he called it spot on. He said, well, who are you going to vote for? You still have the same limited options. So who are the youth fronting? Because we have the numbers that the biggest motivation in this country would have been that the youth have their leader. They've decided they're going that direction. So they are marshalling the rest of the youth in the country to go pick up their voters' cards, to go vote for these leaders. But, Owen, is it not too late? UDA has already figured itself out. They know who they're fronting. The United Alternative Government is already doing their rounds across the country. They're going to come up with their leaders. Up to what time are the youth going to sit back and say, we're still waiting?
Like I said, the youths are looking for a unifying figure. And we've had promising faces
but they haven't,
so far.
Owen, they haven't.
You've had people talk about Sifuna, the CCTO Sifuna movement.
Yes.
That has actually onboarded Babu Owino.
That's it.
We've also had youths proposing Ndindi Nyoro. Mm-hmm. We have others who are also enticed with the politics of Mohammed, is it Ali?
Yes.
Of the coast of Nyali.
Yes.
So it is the way they are behaving is equally the way the united opposition is behaving, and it is the way the government side is behaving, because also the government side hasn't settled on the deputy president's position.
Yes.
You are hearing the power brigade and the fire side having a tussle. So no side is settled. So when each group has done their theatrics and settled on one, I think you'll see the true colors of the youth. They'll marshal behind the person they trust and love most, and they will dare it in the ballot.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty much, Kim Tai. I've got this one for you as well. This is Kristen. Kristen, good morning. Thank you very much for watching this morning. She said, Simba, I always watch you. Good. Thank you very much for doing that. Now, this is what she's saying, and I'll read it precisely. Good evening. Good morning, Simba. Kindly tell your youth panel in the studio that they should be speaking differently. They should be asking the youth to come and front a leader that they can coin around this Nico Nakadi movement. Because without it, every other person in the country now is taking it over. President has taken it over. Rigathi Gachagua has taken it over. The likes of Babu Owino and Sifuna have taken it over, when the youth haven't even decided what the Nico Nakadi movement is. Can we start from there? That without a face around the Nico Nakadi, it's just as useless as the Gen Z protest that we saw in 2023.
My brother, I want to tell my sister Christina, we had tried some months ago. We had Murara Kipasu.
Oh, by the way, what happened to him? Why did you say no?
We supported him. Even me, I contributed amount of money to him, to Limchangia. And we did believe as the youth, this is the way to go. This man has our vision, because he was showing us everything the government is doing mess. He was telling us this contract has been eaten. this institution is wrong, this institution is bad. We believed in him. What happened? All of a sudden, he was bought. He left us. Now he's doing his own business. We were left hanging.
Yes.
We had Makore Kasamwell. He was acting as our activist. What happened? He's now singing the two-term and ODM and whatever.
But you guys rejected him even before.
We never rejected him.
You rejected him.
We supported him. He was in every TV station every day.
Yeah,
and we supported him as
even,
the youth.
But even during that period, you would always ask, who told you we want you to speak for us?
Because we were leaderless. But we did believe in him that when he speaks in TV, he was speaking on our behalf.
Imagine speaking for people who don't want you as their leader.
Why should you? No. We had agreed that we don't have a leader. That was the first thing we agreed. We don't have a leader. And nobody is going to lead us.
Are you also concerned that that is a status quo that has not changed since 2023? That it's 3 years down the line and the youth in this country still don't have a leader?
You know our problem as the youth. As much as we want change, as much as change is concerned, we are also cheap. We are cheap to be bought. We are cheap to be misled. Let me ask you, these people who are working with police to attack other youths, they are the same youths. The youths today who are working with the opposition or with the government is the same youth like us. You know, we want change, but the same youth, we are attacking people who want change. If today, like you saw in Naro, there was a peaceful assembly. The police came in with tear gas, people chased away people. In my place, Rift Valley, Kericho, it was a border initiative led by majority leader. But people who were fighting were the youth from the other side and the youth from this side. So these politicians are using us also because we are cheap. Why don't we make a stand? If we say today to Kokadi, when I meet you in the street, when you are supporting that side, you are my brother. We talk as brothers and we talk as brother and sister. And we said we are the youth. The moment we leave this thing being cheap,
yes,
the moment we believe that we want change,
yes,
that's the moment that we will make change. Because as we speak right now, a lot of youth are saying, Sisi ndio Sifuna, which is right. But there is some youth who are attacking Sifuna. In social media, the people who are against Sifuna are the same youth. Why don't we give chance Sifuna, we listen to him? If we said we don't want President William Ruto with the government, it's okay, we don't want President William Ruto with the government, but we the youth, whom do we want? We don't want Gachagua with the opposition. Fine, whom do we want? Are we going to build this guy? Then Sifuna come to us, Ndindi Nyoro come to us, any youth who is feeling that he can lead us or he can lead this country. And it's not all about leading the youth. It's all about making a change in this country. And the change should be to end police brutality, job opportunity for us, to end corruption. Because as we speak right now, we are talking about the national politics. As we speak, county government, they are mandling, they are hitting our money. Senate today, how many, and I want to ask, since devolution, how they have been bringing governors to Senate for questioning, for accountability. There is amount of money. I do remember, personally, I do remember governor from Bungoma, Lusaka, the same governor who is now, he bought chairs, 100,000 one chair, or pyro pens, writing ones. He has not been even questions or even by the Senate, but he's still the governor. We have seen a lot of governor misusing our money, our resources. The ministers, 11 billion got lost at Ministry of Health. We have not questioned. About 10 billion got lost at Talanda Stadium. We have not questioned. We want power, but the same people, we don't want to take these people to accountability, because everything is all about our money and our taxes. If these people, as the youth, we are not going to make these things serious, make these people accountable, like the way we made as the Gen Z protest, that the finance bill is wrong, through the finance bill. The same thing should happen. We should make the president accountable. Who is going to make him accountable? Are we going to have somebody like Murara Kipaso, who will at the end of the day will left us hanging? We should now, that's why I said we don't want to rush. Let's not make decisions that we will come and regret. What if tomorrow Sifuna make another turn? Whom are we going to say? We have said we are Sifuna. We said we are Murara Kepaso, left us. Came a lot of slogans one time and wherever. Now is high time we can have a seat and have a conversation as the youth. What do we want? Are we still cheap? Is these people still going to buy us? Will the president buy us because he's the president of the state? Are we going to work with the rock police to attack our fellow youths? Are we going to disrupt meetings of other politicians with the youth? If today we make a change, that we are not going to attack any politician meeting, we are not going to attack anybody. We, the youth, we have stand and we are going this direction. Even the government will respect us. Even the opposition will respect us. And we'll make a decision.
That's it. And that point, like Kimtai ends it, is why I want you to pick it up, Owen. That if we make a decision as a youth in this country, but Owen, it's taken us 3 years, man. Since, you would like to think that after the Gen Z protests, if you had held a general election in 2023, you wouldn't have doubted whether youth would have voted. You would have never doubted in any other way, or you would have known that if you hold a general election today, majority of the youth will pick up their voters' cards and they will vote in this direction. Currently as it is, you might not know, because all of a sudden, this fire that we had in 2023 only missed on one end, getting leaders, youthful in that sense, who would identify with the messaging that we're pushing within that period. As it stands, there is no youthful leader who stood up and said that we are actually moving this conversation. Up to now, I hear the likes of Kimutai saying, what really matters right now is that you pick up your voter's card. And somebody told me one thing yesterday, that even where these youth are picking these voters' cards are not even where they ordinarily would vote, that all it is there right now is that, let's go pick up these voters' cards. But when it comes to voting, number one, they do not know which leader they're going to vote for because they want to be leaderless all the way to 2027. And that's not a conversation for changing a country. You change a country through leaders. Owen.
I want to correct Kimutai that youths are not cheap. I think they are priceless. And they are the hot commodity in town.
Yes.
And what I would say that they're just victims of an unfair system.
Yes.
And that's why we even have affirmative action programs to be able to empower the youth. The youths need empowerment. They need financial empowerment. They need political muscle empowerment. And why they are always in the odd is because what the established political class have already put they have established an unfair race whereby they are already like 80 meters in a 100-meter race, while the youth is at the very start, meter zero.
Yes.
And that has made it easy for youth to become easily manipulated. It is the very reason why you've seen when there was a mass movement by the youths to be able to air their voices, we had also a small quarter that had tried to meet violence to deter them. Because they were promised some goodies or financial incentives that could be able to be life-changing to them. And that has led them to be able to try make attempts to counter. But the resolve has not fizzled out. The youths are still determined, and they have discovered that not giving out the identity of supposedly the one to lead us into the Singapore that we are promised by the current government should be kept hidden, because like you've said and given testimonials of youths that came out,
yes,
you find that the system fought back very aggressively, and it made persons like Morara to be able to bend to its will. It made the likes of Makoure to explore alternative options, which is not bad. It's also encouraging. It has also led to other youths being fearful to come out and express themselves, because they see, if I come out, the kind of force that will come out to counter me or to try to silence me is much greater than the resources I have personally. So being that the youths are massively rich in terms of physical strength,
yes,
but also excessively dry in terms of pocket depth, they have to find alternative ways of how to maneuver the system. And that is one strategy, having them in suspense. You are seeing the broad-based side are really eager, they're trying to fit in. You are seeing the united opposition trying to fit in, which means it is the youths now who are driving the narrative. And they are trying to appease to them,
yes,
which is a win for the youths.
That's it. Pretty much. There's a question directed to you, and I've seen it this morning, just based on the sentiments that you've just met this morning. I will say this, George. George, how are you doing, sir? Good morning, and thank you very much for always participating on our show this morning. And this is what George says, and I'll read it easily. Is Owen saying they have no idea of who their next leader is, or they are waiting to be told who their next leader is?
We have an idea, because we have...
Which idea?
We have what I call the KPIs,
yes,
that we'll use,
yes,
to be able to gauge the person that will get the youth's endorsement.
Yes.
So that one does not mean we lack an idea.
So unless somebody,
we already have the format.
So unless somebody comes up and tells you that I want to be your leader, because we haven't seen them now, is that what you're waiting for?
No, even if they come, like I've said,
yes,
we already have an answer sheet, where if you, Elijah, you present yourself,
that's it,
we'll be able to look at those. Do you meet the criteria?
Yeah.
And are you a unifying factor for the youth?
Mm-hmm.
Then you will have it. So at the moment, that one should not be confused for being confused, because yes, like I said, it is the youths controlling narratives.
That's it.
And the others are joining.
Pretty much. I've got more. I'll read this one from Bygones, who's saying, Kwani, the young people in this country are 50+1 of Kenyan votes. Somebody asked that question. If you can double the registered votes from 22 million to 42 million as a youth in this country, then let's talk. Otherwise, majority of them are going to vote for the same Rigathi Gachagua you're speaking against.
Why? His own opinion.
It's close to a fact.
No, it's not close to a fact. It's his own opinion.
It's close to a fact, isn't it?
I want to tell you.
Hold on, Kimutai.
See, I want to tell you.
Hold on. Look at these numbers. I mean, we talked about the numbers this morning, that only 14 million Kenyans went out to vote.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at that voter turnout. From 22 million registered, only 14 million voted.
How many youth voted?
Sorry?
How many youth voted that time?
Well, it's not known. The IBC didn't break it down, but all they said is that we know the youth numbers, which are only 8 million out of the 22 million. And then out of the 22 million registered, 14 million went out to vote. So, see what Bygones is saying? Unless the youth now form the bigger number in that voters register, which has to be 50+1, then we will know which direction they're going to vote. But as it stands, he's saying, well, even majority of them are going to vote for the same Rigathi Gachagua you're speaking.
But I have a very nice idea to the youth, a very good option, very nice one.
Yeah.
Because we are all worried that we don't have a direction.
That's it.
And
but that's a fact, isn't
we
it?
are much pretty sure
okay,
that
that's a fact.
We are much pretty sure that
yes,
we can be manipulated. My brother said we are not cheap, but we are the youths. We have been in maybe middle of circumstance or situation.
Yes.
I want to tell him that we were cheap to be manipulated. We accepted to be manipulated because one, we never took any accountability on what we want.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, the option I have for the youth, because we do feel that these people will manipulate us.
Yes.
Why don't we fight for these seats? Why don't we go for these seats? If today we have a majority of 200 members of parliament who are the youth,
Yes.
We can make a decision in that parliament.
Yes.
We can make free education. We can make free health services. We can make a decision. We can rule even this country using the parliament. If we can make youths in our counties to be the MCS, we'll make the devolution work. Let's not think that the leadership should come from up. We should even also sit down. If today my county has 30 wards, that's 30 MCS.
Yes.
If majority is 22, that's a majority, 22. They'll make a decision in that. They can recheck the budget of the governor. They will recheck anything governor brings which cause contrary to the people. Personally, me, I supported a leader, 2022. I used the best of my knowledge to advise people to vote for him because I thought personally that he is going to work on what personally, me and him promised the people. But now he's against what we promised the people. But I have no power to tell him or to kick him out. But I'll sit down, see him, look at him, and now wait for 2027 to make a change. And so that we cannot repeat this mistake, why don't we go for these seats? Let's go convince our parents. Let's convince our fellow youth. We fight for the governorship, members of parliament, the Senate, and the MCA. Then we come now to National Assembly.
Yes.
We say now, because Ndindi Nyura at point I had an idea of making this free education because we have a lot of money. We have the CDF, help loan, and whatever. We have the CDF presidential loan. I don't know, our affirmative action from women rep. We have county CDF. So we had an idea. The guy has an idea. If the youth will go to that National Assembly, we would have been the one rejecting the finance bill from the president 2024.
Yes.
Hatungekuwa na maandamano.
Yes.
Now is the youth. If we are having an idea of making a change, let's start us bringing this change. Let's fight for these seats.
Yes.
Then now we make our laws. Not even our laws, we make laws that favors the common mwananchi.
Yes.
And the laws that can take this country far.
That's it.
That's an option. I can tell them if we are still fearing that it's Gachagua, it's the president, right? Let's go for these seats. And now if we go for these seats and they elect, maybe they return the president William Ruto, or they elect the Gachagua, whom we are saying they might elect him, and we are not believing in their plan and the promises they're promising Kenyans.
Yes.
It's very easy for us to impeach him without compromising.
That's it.
That's a way to impeach him. If we get a governor who is not working, we are the youth, we will impeach him.
Yes.
So what's wrong? We have an alternative. We should not have a plan A, we should have a plan B. The plan B, we go for this. When the plan A fails, we use the plan B. And the plan B is, let's get elected as the youth so that we can take these people to be accountable.
Pretty much. Owen, we have 5 minutes for this conversation. I want you to take 2 minutes, respond to this one. This is Mokaya, who's saying, you are aware Uhuru was named TNA candidate just 3 months to elections in 2013? Asking that question this morning. Goes on to say, naming or supporting a particular candidate right now is setting them up for massacre by this rogue regime. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. That was my argument initially.
Or just an excuse?
No, it's making a lot of sense. Like I said, right now, if the people who are holding
yes.
the instrument of influence,
yes.
To be able to try and force things their own route,
yes.
The people in power. So they'll do to the best of their knowledge to be able to manipulate.
Yes.
Just the way it happened with TNA and URP in 2013, it can happen in 2027. There is no rush. There's a lot of time to be able to organize ourselves. Another thing that I wanted to tell Kimutai, and this is what has been harming the youth, that in a scenario whereby you have a beautifully decorated cake, and instead of going for the cake, you are taking up a cream and you are giving a youth to be able to have a bite at a cream instead of the real cake, in the name of we have MCS, women rep. Those are destructive, what I would say, that is a distraction measure that is given to the youth to avoid them from focusing from the main meat,
yes.
which is the presidency.
That's it.
We've had youthful presidential leaders globally, I think, is it Nepal, that elected a very young man.
Yes.
That was the voice of the people then. What is so different with Kenya? We should stop the habit of saying, as a youth, first do this. It will start like go for the smaller position, then it will come, first look for a spouse, have children, build a home, have a car, and the conditions will just keep on piling. So the youth should be focused, and they should just go for the pie if they've set the eyes on the pie.
That's it. Kimtai, also want you to take a minute, and you guys are receiving a lot of fire this morning. Somebody is saying, this is Reinhard, who's saying, you guys are talking big, like you are carrying 1,000 votes in your pocket. Goes on to say, anyone can mobilize people to register as voters, right? What you guys are forgetting is that the same politicians are finding their own way of doing so, and they're sure that once they do so, they get these votes. That is what you are forgetting. Hashtag Tukokadi.
I have no problem with anyone's opinion. It's his own opinion. He might be right or wrong. But personally, the way I see, you know, most of us, we don't see what we want to see. And I've told my brother here, me saying that we go for these positions is not because we have loosened up with a bigger position.
Yes.
No, it's an alternative that if everything fails, we have an alternative. If you are going for a fight, you cannot go with one bullet.
Yes.
You will go with several bullets. If one misses the target, the second one will have the target.
That's it.
With the youth. And I want to tell the youth outside there, the youth all over the country, please, let's go get a vote.
Yes.
Let get a card. Then now we come as the youth, we sit down. Where are we putting our card? We make a decision. And making a decision also, we should participate.
That's it.
Participating is being elected as me. If the youths of Nairobi and the people of Nairobi rejected Sifuna 2022, you would have never been knowing Sifuna right now, standing for us, saying Sisi ndio Sifuna. If the people of Embakasi East not elected Babu Owino, hatungemjua. So they were the youths then, and they're still the youths. The same thing should happen to us. If tomorrow we elect that president for the youth, na kifika huku he left us and never believed in what we agreed on, the same way the government never proved to us the bottom-up economy. But they promised us now we are going to Singapore. What are we going to do? Are we going to demonstrate? We should have an alternative. When we elect a president, even if it's our own from the youth, he should not go there and go against the law. We should take him accountable according to the law. And we should make sure now, if he fails, we have an alternative to make him accountable for what he's doing.
That's it. Take 15 seconds. I want to respond to this. This is Basil Omondi, who's saying, now this is a train to nowhere. Time is running out. With no identified leader coming into this conversation, it'll be an exercise in futility. When is too late for the Nikonakadi movement not to have its own leader? When is it too late?
Tell Omondi we don't want another Morara. We are not rushing for Morara.
Yes. Owen, when is it too late?
It's not late. Neither is there a too late moment for this movement.
Yes.
Like we've said before, you don't need a whole year for you to win. If youths are united, if youths come out in large numbers, they can't miss a bullet. That's for sure.
That's it.
Yes.
Pretty much. Guess what? I know you guys have sent in a lot of conversations to me personally, and I can see online as well. Thank you very much for being a part and parcel of our show this morning. Take this gentleman back to the time that he joined us this morning. Remember, it is politicians who are weighing you to their voter basket. Rigathi Gachagua this morning is telling you, give him power in 2027, and all those police officers who arrested you, used force and killed your fellow protesters, they'll go in. Is that reason enough for you to vote them? And for the Nikonakadi movement, when it's too late to have a leader identify as your leader, the hashtag is the Morning Drift. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to the studio this morning. All right, I will see you tomorrow for another conversation. Good morning and goodbye. You know what Sifuna could do?
And for me, this is what I say. That guy, maybe we should go and do his political advisor. No one can tell you.